Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome to another episode of Islam on the Block. So I'm joined here with my young brothers, Shakur and Isa, from the community. First of all, we want to just say that as elders in the community, we want to get with the younger generation and open up and have a conversation, have just a relaxing dialogue with them about their experiences growing up in the community, growing up in Islam, okay, in a relaxing way, because we're feeling like now that maybe there's some kind of disconnect between the younger generation and the older brothers that have been around for some time. And one of the issues is that we don't really feel that the younger brothers understand the love that we have for them. And this is something, Yani, that, when we came into Islam, right? Myself, Abdullah, Ghazi, Samir, we had a generation before, right? And these brothers, they were there. They talked to us, they kicked it with us, they gave us pointers on, how to stay out of this kind of fitna. You understand what I'm saying? Because we all came from the block. We came from a generation where everybody was smoking weed, everybody was drinking alcohol, and back then everybody was gangbanging. Everybody gangbanging, everybody selling dope.
Nowadays everybody's scamming.
This is what we did on the block, right? So now these brothers came to us and talked to us and let us know that they had love for us. They let us know that we're not judging you, we're not tripping, but this is how you can come into Islam. This is how you can be Muslim. This is how you can get your life straight. This is how you can have a family, have kids. You understand what I'm saying? So these brothers had like real genuine love for us, And for me, I always, with my boys, with other boys, I take time. I chill with them, whatever, ride motorcycles, riding horses, Whatever they want to do, we can do it. I'm not tripping. Because we need to have that kind of connection, So that's the first and foremost thing, that all the brothers that I've spoken with want the young brothers to know that there is mad love for them. Your fathers and your mothers and your parents, these are our homeboys and our homegirls.
Yeah, no.
I'm talking about just like that. Yeah. I'm talking about Qabla Islam, like before most of us became Muslim. Yeah. These are our homeboys and our homegirls. You follow what I'm saying? So this is the kind of bond we have, and now we've grown in friendship. We've grown, as a community. And you're just as much our children as you are their children. And this is how we look at it. It's not like, I don't care about him or, no, all of them. Because what if it's my son? What if it's my daughter? And somebody needs to say, hey, what's going on? You okay? What's happening? You need something? You follow?
In most situations, especially with the OGs who love us, it goes back to where when I'm coming up as a Muslim, me growing up, I pretty much can say I grew up in the Zuni Islam with my father. He became Muslim, then the whole family pretty much became Muslim. My mother actually became Muslim first. Okay. Before she became Muslim first, she was reading Malcolm X that made her happen. She started going to the masjid, and then she was actually going to walk away from the relationship had my dad not became Muslim. You know what I'm saying? So that's one thing up there. So my dad became Muslim. So he became Muslim, he started going to the masjid. He wasn't really practicing at first, like a lot of people say. But then he finally, he tells this funny story where, he said he heard a voice when he went to the day, he'd been Muslim, took a shower, but the day he finally became Muslim and finally decided to act on his Islam, decided to go to the masjid, he heard a voice just like it was like a loud ringing in his voice, like he was just like, man. He said he just kept on going to the masjid. He said it wasn't like no ringing to stop his body. It was just like like you know what I'm saying? 'Cause he been he'd say I've been doing evil for so long, I've been so bad. You know what I'm saying? Now me actually doing good, it triggered my body. So me growing up with them, going to from Chicago, Butter Islamic School in Fresno, good private community. And going to the masjid, I seen my dad do a 720, like a whole, like not 360, the whole 720,
Gotcha.
and how his Islam changed from going to different locations.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And my dad and me seeing that, it wasn't like no sort of what he would say to me, as far as it wasn't more so what he would say to me as far as his knowledge and Islamic guidance to me. It was more so me watching how he actually moved and made decisions.
Gotcha.
And that kind of helped me nowadays. Now, when it comes to Islam, I take guidance from older brothers. Everybody. I just had a debate with somebody the other day. I was like, if you're not one of the OGs, you know what I'm saying, I'm really not hearing nothing you got to say. Because a lot of us, a lot of y'all just dirty as I am. So we're not about to say that. So it's hard for me to feel that. And plus, it's hard for what I believe are the other young Muslim brothers, because I can speak for myself, I can speak for a lot of other people too. It's hard for a lot of other young Muslim brothers to hear guidance, to hear, somebody trying to enforce and implement something to them. If, in a sense, you may have, because a lot of young folks, we out here in the world too. They walk around there in the streets, they drive around, a lot of them younger driving cars now, so they're able to go A, B, and C. So when you see and you hear older brothers, which I'm saying this because this is my experiences, when you hear and see older brothers that you respected, that you cared about, that you loved, and they're caught up in certain things, because we all have to understand that we're weak, and we all do certain things. So that's not to be said. But when you see somebody who's been drilling it down and he makes a mistake, now with you being so young, it's like, how do you decipher? It's either, oh, you're just gonna tell me not to do that because of what, you're an authority figure? Or is it actually okay? Are you being a hypocrite? Are you wrong? Now that's cause a rebellion. I can't listen to you because now we're equal. You know what I'm saying? That's one thing that destroys a lot of especially Muslim youth, is that they take an action and now we're equal. I've been caught up in that thing growing up too. I don't see age. Age is not a number. If I see you talking to somebody or doing whatever you're doing, if I even get a whiff of it, it's like, why respect it? Now, my thing when it comes to the youth in Islam is one thing I kind of was scared of. I'm going to use the word scared and ashamed, was me kind of being, a little open with a lot of things going on. Like I said, we all sin, but a lot of things were not, I was really scared of. Not even somebody see me. I was always a stand-up person, and to my own detriment, where I would be like, I did it, what you gonna do? But at the same time, it was that horrific shame that was like, oh man. That shame only came because, my dad, he used to always preach in the house, heedlessness, and have no shame. Y'all have no shame, you gotta have some shame. You gotta have shame in life.
That's the human in you.
Yes.
Honestly, that ties along with just in general, like people. So there's the disconnect that you talked about with the younger generation, the older generation. I think some of that stems from like just how you grew up in different environments and different times too. Because my mom and my dad, like they grew up in different times, different places. Like my mom's grew up in Mexico, Acapulco, in like the early '70s. So I'm like, it's a whole different era, a whole different country. Like she converted to Islam, I'm not too sure, probably in her late 20s or early 30s. But I know that it can't be like the exact, she's from a different background too, like than just traditional American morals and stuff. So she's used to like things being super strict and so, you convert to Islam, you're gonna implement the strict stuff that you learn from the Catholic, wherever, into Islam. So it's like, growing up in LA, LA, of all places.
That's another thing.
That's different.
That's another thing, and I want to add on to in Los Angeles. Not to say London, but there's a lot of. I call it silent Islam. I call it like it's like it's a lot of Muslims more than a lot of places.
So what makes them silent?
One, in certain aspects, in certain settings, in certain places, you're not going to
Acknowledge that
you're Muslim. You're going to literally, and I've seen it many times in industry events, going to several different places. I will find me a corner to go pray. It could be whatever's going on, whatever's in the background. I'm finding me a corner to pray because we know that there's no, you gotta pray, under any, state, make sure you clean and everything, but make sure you stay normally late. But next thing you know, I have somebody tap my shoulder, happened a few times, tap my shoulder, basically slow down, and basically acknowledge that some other people behind me. There'll be dudes in suits and dudes, and you know what I'm saying? They be right there praying. That's why I be like, man, y'all Muslim? He said, yeah, man. And one guy gave me an explanation. He's like, yeah, man, but if I come out and say the industry, they're gonna say I'm too extreme. They're gonna say I'm this. So and this is Muslims that we see go to Salafi masjids too. You know what I'm saying? They're not the same Islamic name. They're their government name when they walk out of the building.
That extreme part is crazy. That extreme part stems from just modern society. The thing I was talking about, growing up this generation, like people with see our community, we're a little different. It's just like we know what it is. We almost have the same traditions and morals of the OGs that brought us up because they'll let us know, like, hey, look, you in the street, you out in the movies, you gonna make.
That's another thing. And going back to the back then. And I was, mind you, I had a debate with my little brother yesterday. Back then, you guys had folks that actually reprimanded you, and it was a different time then, right? So reprimanding and your father's friend and your mother's friend, reprimanding you, spanking you, whatever the case may be, that was pretty much cool and legal. That was acceptable in society. I was still being reprimanded. I was in my young age. I was still being pulled aside, and you know what I'm saying? So now, when we're in today, 2023, 2024, so right around the corner, there's no legal laws or anything like that. But you don't have to even go there for it, just based on society aspect and perspective. If you're over here, you're yourself going over here and you're grabbing somebody like me, you're grabbing somebody like another younger person over here. In a lot of cases, depending on where you go, you might be considered a tyrant.
Yeah, it might be some repercussions.
You know what I'm saying?
Just like in the schools now, the student can, cuss the teacher out, nothing's going on. You follow what I'm saying?
Parents gonna sit there like they're not talking to my children, they're gonna do anything. That's definitely the thing. And I always said we're in a rebellious era anyway. And when they say that I need some of the people, you talk about the people born Muslim compared to the ones who convert Muslim. The ones that are born Muslim, I kind of play the cups of if I was born Muslim and not born. I'm with every child is born Muslim, but as far as practicing and being implemented, I kind of grew with them in that, where our knowledge is pretty much when you learn Alif Ba Ta, I learned Alif Ba Ta at the same time as you. So it was like, it was an interesting thing. But when you're young and you're coming up from parents that already know Islam, you know what I'm saying, especially first generation, second generation, you know what I'm saying, my grandfathers are not Muslim, you know what I'm saying, a lot of Muslims around us, some of their grandfathers are Muslim, so that's kind of a different, a different Islamic mindset when it comes to that.
But going back to the issue of, because this is a big thing, and I'm 100% positive that people don't have a good understanding of it, right? This hypocrisy kind of thing. Because let's say, I'll use myself as an example. I'm gonna ask you a question, okay? So let's say within the next 6 months or a year from now, you get married, okay? And you and your new wife, you have a child, okay? So think of yourself like this. What is it do you think that you want from your child? How do you want your child to grow up? What do you want them to think? What do you want them to believe? You understand what I'm saying? And the more important thing, what do you want their character to be like? And keep it in mind that you lived your life.
Right.
But does that mean that you want your child to make the same mistakes that you made? Does that mean because you made those mistakes now, it's okay for you to make those mistakes because I made those mistakes? Right. Is it okay? Or the way that we're supposed to look at it is, without a question, man is weak.
Right.
There's a difference in somebody being human and making a mistake. and somebody being in the closet and doing something all the time. There's a difference. So, you know, off the top, as a Muslim, you're supposed to have husn al You're supposed to have a good opinion of the Muslim brother or the Muslim sister. If you see over, I'm not talking about a week or days, but if you see over a long course of time that, okay, this person, every time I see them, they smell like alcohol or something. This is a different subject. Rather than if you see this person one time and they smell like alcohol, and you see the look on their face and you know they don't feel good about it.
Yeah.
You follow what I'm saying? They not like, you know, this is me. You know, they don't feel good about it. Now, this kind of person, Yanni, what we have to realize is you can't shut that person down from not wanting you to do the same thing that they did.
Yeah. Now,
You got
I'm saying no, 100%. And I want to say I will be open and apologize to him because I definitely have attacked and came at him. You know what I'm saying? The same way that people attacked and came at me.
That's what I'm
For
saying.
a lot of the same for being radical and being,
Yes.
you know, loose and not caring. So you know, one thing is with that, you know, it's two areas with that. You have the area where you don't want to sit there and be like, you fucked in, and then they're gonna find another outlet. They're gonna find a whole bunch of other people to care about. Cause I was that person. I'll be like, oh, y'all want to get on me about something? You know, I'm not about to. Cause my mentality always been, if y'all not gonna dog him, if y'all not gonna trip on him, y'all better not come to me. Because we know the rule. So if you don't come to him and go to me, that means you're being selective and you're being a hypocrite. I don't see that as being this. I don't see that as, you know what I'm saying, being the other end. Don't go. So at least if you come at him a certain type of way, then come to me. Now, if we sit here, like you said, we let him. If I was messing with my son, if I have a son or a daughter, whatever you want me to say son.
Yeah.
And he's doing whatever I dislike, you know, whatever that could be. I will correct him because this is from experience, from seeing both sides, you know, harshly. I will correct him to a certain extent, and if I could reprimand him, depending on how detrimental the situation is, how bad the situation is, if I could reprimand him, I'm definitely going to reprimand him. I believe in all the reprimanding tactics of the world. But if I see that this boy, I mean, unfortunately, you know, Allahu Alam, we don't know. You know, we always hear people could be born, people could be this, people could be certain different, whatever the case may be. That's a sign, that's a law, that's from a law. You could go wherever you want with that. But if your son is acting upon whatever you don't like, I would just simply, I would literally have to sort of, and I hesitate saying this, but you sort of kind of not let him, but you have to let him. In a sense, but letting your guidelines go. Like one of the things that helped me out, and this is from my father, and you know, I'm not the perfect person in the world, but at the same time, when it came to my dad, he would talk to me about the things I would do outside all the time, but he wouldn't nowhere near come at me about it unless I'm in his house doing it. You know what I'm saying? You need me, you got me, mashallah, I'm gonna do my duty to give you the rights of the father, I'm here. But you step out that crib, oh yeah, you still gonna have rights and I'm still gonna defend you, but at the same time, you're going to get the ultimate reprimand. You're going to get, I'm gonna talk to you like you're a grown man. I'm going to tell you things that you ain't going to want to hear on purpose. I'm going to come at you, but at the same time, I can't stop you. In the second, I've seen it many times, I've seen strong-minded people, and Muslims that wear those. You push them to a certain limit.
We're gonna get to that point.
Okay.
So I don't understand what a thobe has to do with it.
Because, let me say this, we can get that. Because growing up, hold on now.
What does that mean?
Growing up, you know, we heard, and this is something that we heard many times from older women. If you're not looking like a Muslim, and the thobe represents you looking like a Muslim. The kufi represents you represent looking like a Muslim. So when I say things like thobe, I'm pretty much kind of sarcastically playing with
I know that.
notion.
That's why we're gonna get
playing with that notion. Because growing up, for me being a child around people have been told like, oh, y'all not even look like a Muslim. How you expect to get a certain type of respect? Or how do you expect to get a certain type of results? You're not out here dressed up and moving like you're supposed to be a Muslim. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I use the term forward.
Mm-hmm.
But now if we're gonna get back to, you know what I'm saying, how are we gonna, you know, reprimand the children? How we gonna, if the boy gonna leave, if he's gonna leave, like, yeah, don't get me wrong. The person's gonna do what he wants to do, especially when you're dealing with
The main thing about that is really how you do it, it's the method and like in which route you take to do the reprimanding. Because first of all, we obviously know, like any of the OGs, they know like, alright, this is wrong, this is not, this is right and wrong.
Right.
And the youth, they might know it too.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like, that's even more reason why you gotta take precautions, because you can't just go up to somebody and just be like, hey, like, look, in front of everybody, hey, you wild, like, you do this.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we get it, like, that's wrong. What you did was wrong. But it's like, there's ways of going about it, because some people take things differently. Some, you just never know. Like, some people have different ways of taking things. And
So now, let me explain to you, because I want you to jump in on this. Let me explain to you. The reason why they say it takes a tribe to raise a child, right, is because the tribe has a lot of different personalities,
that's true.
right? So you're gonna have the person that comes to you like auntie down the street. Honey, come here, let me talk to you, let me tell you something, and you don't have to do this, and da 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 da. Then you're gonna have the cat down the street that mad at everything, right?
Mad at breakfast.
All that. And now he's gonna check you in a different kind of way. Then you're gonna have the dude that's just serious about everything. And he gonna blast you out the water. You have all these different things, so what that does really in society and human, us just being, that gives you an opportunity to get hit always. See, because Allah's giving you a chance. It's not just like, okay, only one person can talk to you, only one certain kind of way. No, it's not even meant to be like that. Because number one, your father's different and your mother's different. So you already got two different hits coming. Then your neighbor, then your homeboy's different, right? Then the brothers at the masjid, they different. So you get an opportunity to get hit from all these different directions. So later on, you can't say that, well, I didn't know, or I really, nobody explained it. One of those people came to you and told you in a manner in which you could just sit back and say, okay, you know, maybe you got a point, right? Not everybody. But like every time somebody says something, is it about you, like, do they have to tell you a certain kind of way?
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? Like they say, you know, a fool is a person that doesn't learn from anybody's mistakes. That's a fool.
Right.
You don't learn from your own mistakes, you don't learn from nobody else's mistakes. The wise person is the person that learns from other people's mistakes.
Yeah.
They don't even have to make the mistake. They'll look at you and be like, oh man, he did that. Man, I'm cool, I'm not doing that.
That is the wise though. That is the wise ones, and there aren't too many. You know, it's tough, but there aren't too many wise ones out there to be like, yeah, I see that you did that wrong, or that wasn't supposed to be done like that. There are just, you know, other people who are like probably slightly slower than the rest. You know, just it'd be a little bit tougher, more tedious to get the same point across to them, and it's like it's nothing extra crazy or out of line, but it's just like
So
that's how
now,
you go about it.
this is a question I got for you, right? And you too. So, back in our time, right, we were extremely serious about hustling. We just call it hustling. But hustling means your job, your second job, you know, you selling something on the side, or you making something, or you building something, right? The one thing that we see, right, in our new generation is that the youngsters run around and they don't really have any kind of real hustle. Like, okay, what am I gonna do to like really get my money? You know, so I can go from point A to point B to point C. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So like, what y'all?
That hit my generation hard. I'm not gonna lie. Like that really hit my generation hard because, like, even almost to this day, like it's the motivation. I don't know what it is. I think it's the motivation because it's like Yeah.
It's not. Well, here's the thing. You lose your motivation because of one, their youth are seeing something totally different than what we're seeing. I grew up in the literally Pentium 3 era. So we still worked, we still went outside, we had hour a day, keep everything away, football, all that stuff. Y'all generation now, or people under you, but still coming up, that generation is more technical, is more computerized. That's why I always said my children are just not seeing a phone or not seeing a tablet. I always said that's the scapegoat. That was a scapegoat. Whenever you hear a baby crying, you want to give them a tablet and a phone. You're basically destroying their empathy. You're destroying their creativity already. You're already running. So now you're not creatively thinking about all the ways to make no money. Your attention span's already, because you already been given this cheat code, your attention span's already getting less and less and less. And that's what you really need to be working on these jobs, to be hustling and to be making a certain amount of money, is you need to have yourself mentally balanced in a certain type of way. So then you can be able, because not everybody wants to work. It's not, I've built houses, I've done electrical, I've done computer work, I've done all kinds of different things, different industries. And nobody wants to work. I'll tell you every last one of them I don't want to do. I don't care how long I've been doing it. For years, I don't want to wake up. I ask myself if I want to do this every time I get up. But I know for a fact that if I get up and I start moving, I'm going to do it, and I'm going to do it as long as I can, and that's going to be good. This generation is a different situation. It's almost like because I've hired people before, so I know what I'm in there. It's almost like sometimes when you work somebody, you can be making money, you can be paying them right, you can pay them more than the next man. But it's the mentality of now, just like when you get the masjid, you don't want certain people telling you certain things. That's why I say this era is the rebellion era. This is where everybody just seemed like they got their phones, they got their tablets, and they were told, trained and conditioned. But that's why I always say be careful of that stuff, because you imagine you got your child, Muslim, there watching any show, Peppa Pig, or whatever the popular show is. And then they showing them those shows, hey mom, can I have this? No dear, Oh mom, Now that whole reaction right there is an Islamic.
Sure.
You're already teaching the child at whatever age, more than likely you want to know
it's okay for you to rebel.
It's okay to rebel. So that's why when I was younger, and my generation's coming up, being 30, coming down, we didn't see that. You know what I'm saying? We were just playing video games.
Yeah.
So we weren't able to actually see children our ages reenact talking back to their parents and doing stuff, and it's almost like it's training. And the reason why we bring that up is because, Islamically, you respect your parents.
Yeah.
And that's one of the biggest things, if you want to talk about it outside, to me, that's one of the biggest things.
So now how do what do we do to try to combat this? And I'm gonna say this lack of motivation, because how do you visualize yourself like climbing from, having an okay car to having a nice car, having no apartment to having an apartment, having no wife to now having a wife? How do you see yourself, like, really 5 years from now? Like, where do you see yourself at?
Honestly, it really is experiences too, because like when you've been out there and you've experienced having nothing, or experienced being at the bottom, rock bottom, you're gonna, like, if you're a normal human, you're gonna be like, okay, yeah, this is not fun, doesn't feel good, I literally need to do better. Like, especially when you get older, like I'm 25 now, and I'm like, yeah, I gotta do a whole lot better for myself, because man, time is not slowing down. You're like a teenager and you're thinking, or you feel like, all right, well, I got enough time, like I can go mess around and waste a lot of time here. But really, a teenager, that's the time where you're supposed to be really setting yourself up for the future, because to be honest, I feel like college could all be done in the years that you're set for high school. Yeah. So the 4 years you spent in high school, those could have been your college years. And by the time you're done with those are 18 years old, you could be done with college.
I was in JUCO at 16 years old, K-12 program.
Bro,
K-12 program.
I was at Trade Tech at 13.
You know what I'm saying? WG, I remember WG was the youngest I know that was in
Yeah.
in the college program. So a lot of time high school and a lot of these other little school programs are just a lazy scapegoat for parents to kind of take them over, take them there. Because we all know if you experience high school, which I did for a short period of time, bro, it's crazy. It's an influence testing lab. For that in college.
That and the internet ruined a lot of things because it's like nowadays people see too much and they just their minds are just like they're swayed from other motivation like to hustle because you might think, oh, like this looks weird or something just because that's what people perceive it as on
And to answer
social
your
media.
question on another perspective, how do you build the motivation? Is really it comes from when we started off the conversation with the love of the OGs and people that came before them. Because when I first came on the block, in LA West Room, give him Jenna, Brother Blau, he had pyramid carpet.
Yeah.
A lot of the boys were working for him.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna give Ali his credit. A lot of boys were selling shirts and doing stuff for him. Muhammad Mumin's father, Mumin. A lot of people were working for him. A lot of folks worked for you. Abu Musa, Mikhail, a lot of people worked for him. And a few other people I can mention that they worked for them. So now, this is where the scary question comes. What is the age gap between all of y'all and the next person under you guys that can implement the same type of workforce, that can give the same type of money? Now, mind you, you can say you guys, the OGs, the older brothers, because this is how the perspectives I would believe it will come. Why would we need to be the ones to set forth? Because that's what is be told. Why do we need to set forth the thing for you guys if we have to do it ourselves? And my answer to that would be Allah's blessed you to do that. Allah guided you, God led you, and fortunately everybody needs are different. And Allah put you up to be a leader and to be what's name. We don't have that many people.
That's one thing, but let's say, like for us, everybody really that's on our block, we have a pretty tight community.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? And for me, I like that.
Texas.
When we were coming up, we were tight. You guys coming up, you guys are still tight.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? I like that.
Yeah.
But what I want to know is, how do we, really get a chance to make connection with you guys so that we can eliminate some of these mistakes? Because like, you 25, right? How old are you now? 30. So you need to be married. 100%. You need to be married.
Mama.
I'm talking about 100%, right? So this is what I'm talking about. It's like, I'm telling my boys right now, they 15, 16, 17, I'm like, look, I'm gonna look for you, and I'm gonna put it in front of your face, and we gonna make
I'm
this
gonna say
thing.
I'm gonna snitch on us real quick. We grew up. I'm gonna snitch on us. I got to. We grew up on the block, and we had a code. We said that we wasn't going to be, be trying to dibble and dabble around with family. So we were trying not to. We were trying not to call, because we some of us older boys, especially out there, we already had other homes, and I come from a very large, I got some Namas families. I'm coming to the metro already with perspectives coming from them. These folks are grown already, live lives outside. The only difference is they're not Muslim. They already living their lives. So if I'm watching you and seeing how you guys move with the people right there, and it's like, no, we won't play it safe. We won't play it safe. That's why
This what I'm saying.
That's why
right?
you see it now, though. A lot of us marry outside of the community. You see
For
it
sure,
now.
I mean, that's an issue, but this is what I'm saying, right? For me, right, and a lot of the people in the community, we come from a really hardcore background. There's a difference, right, and I'm gonna put this out there, there's a difference in looking out for your people and snitching. Just like that.
Right.
If I'm letting you do X, Y, and Z, we all in the same family.
True.
There's no such thing as snitching.
No, that's true. That's true.
Because what happens is, right, because let me explain. My homeboy, who happens to be Egyptian, right? Now his son is 23 years old. He ain't no different than either one of you guys.
Right.
He's a good kid. He ain't no bad dude.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? His son, 23.
Mm-hmm.
But he's dipping and dabbing, right? He get caught up. They take his money and they shoot him in the chest and leave him in the car dead. So now, you know, I'm holding on to his father and he's screaming and crying and, you know, he's like, man, they killed my boy. Just like that.
Yeah.
Another boy, also, he's Egyptian, you understand? Dipping and dabbing. We find him in the supermarket, in his car, dead. He's gone, he ain't coming back. So I'm saying this to say that, you know, is it better for you to look at your homeboy, right? And say, man, you know, even though you think you might be enjoying yourself right now and this and that, but when is it gonna stop? Because it can get to a place real quick where there ain't no get back.
Man, you will hope that your homeboy is praying. And
I'm just saying,
that's
so-
you will say. Like, you will hope, like, this is, I'm going to answer that to the teacher. That is something that we're worried about. So we say this, and this is what me and my boy said. When we say this, and we firmly believe this. So a lot of us, especially a lot of us, what we done, we're blah, but some of us only up here because of the du'as of our parents.
For sure.
And if we talk about how we move and our deeds and how we moving, oh no. And
that's what I'm saying.
And that's the only other, because that's the mercy of Allah, because we've been in situations together a few times where it's like, man, you know, we sitting there staring at the straight like, man, subhanAllah,
like, what are we doing?
And the world, everybody in the outside world will look at you and be like, what you tripping about? What you worried about? You living daily life, and you're just sitting there like, nah, you're not living. This is bigger than daily life. So serious. So now, what our thing is, it's like, cause like you said, you know, from behind me, I have some homies. None of them just from out here, you know what I'm saying? People who move, and it scared me when we just had a brother pass away not too long ago.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? May Allah make him great spacious.
I mean,
To me, I didn't see no bad, and see no bad in a lot of people.
but you gotta keep your eyes open. See, that's the point. And see, people have this thing like, you know, if I got high yesterday, I can't go to the masjid tomorrow.
That man, subhanAllah. Oh my God.
That's the shaitan.
Oh my God, that's something.
You hear what I said? That's the shaitan whispering in your ear.
That's what I said earlier.
If I did something yesterday, I can't.
Excuse.
Everybody's gonna see me and they gonna know what I did, and you know, no, you supposed to go to the
I
masjid.
remember a cook about the brother Fareed.
Right.
Brother Fareed said it. He said in the cookbook, he said even if you sinning and you want to make dua, there is no state that you're in that you can't make dua.
Exactly.
There's no state that you're in. If you feel like you're getting late, you feel like you're scared, you feel like things are going on, there's no state where you can't call upon Allah. And honestly, to tell you the truth, those are the best times to call upon Allah, because those are the times where you feel like, man, I'm all
That's
around
sincerity.
all this, I'm all around all that.
Yeah,
and your
that's
heart starts
sincerity, yeah.
Exactly.
True.
So those are the conditions of that of Allah. You know what I'm saying? Sincerity. That's one of them. So so when you moving around this world, you making dua. Because one thing that was told to me was three things from you, brother. Keep your prayer, keep your salat, pray. Even if you feel
I
that
don't
you're getting
care
up.
what.
Even if you feel like you're getting up and you just moving in motion. Say what you're supposed to say, do what you're supposed to do, and give yourself a chance. Number two, use the protections that Allah give you. Wake up in the morning, say your cool source. Say, I'll look at say whatever you can, because Allah and that's one thing.
Protection.
That's one thing that we stray away from, because in these simple things.
We think it doesn't mean anything, but in the long run, all the little things are the things
Every day.
that really hold you and save you. You understand what I'm saying? Because
When it comes to all of that, like that's definitely true. Because I mean, the sincerity part was the main hitter right there. It's like the genuineness and like the actual belief and intention you have. But I know for a fact, like from experience, like I can see that it's literally way more genuine when you're converting to Islam. Like you converted, right? So it's like when you convert to Islam, it's on your own intention as a grown man. You're like, okay, I know this is right. I need to do this. this is good for me, this is the way things should be, I'm pretty sure this religion is the way to go. So you convert, but you have that true intention because you're already a grown man yourself making that choice. You're like, I want to do this myself. My heart is telling me to do this. But as a kid growing up, like this is no excuse for anything either. Like it's no excuse, but it's like as a child growing up, born into Islam, all you knew was Islam your whole life. So it's like, especially growing up like on the block, like on the block, being a white man, you see things out there, you're just like, you're curious, you're a kid, but you know this is Islam, like this is what we gotta do, and you go out after Al Medina, like the school, after Al Medina, you get to high school. If you go to a high school, you see
away.
stuff, and you like, oh yeah, that was what I heard about. I've seen all that. I never got to see any of that. Now I'm seeing it, but it's a temptation too, and it is a gin, and it's a time.
No.
One thing I noticed real quick is from the block, a lot of us, we be like the cool kids in our groups. You know what I'm saying? We be like every group we go into, we're like the person they all, you know, and that's sometimes a good thing, sometimes it's a bad thing, because you either influencing them or they're influencing you, so they show them a lot of protective.
No, yeah, and the influencing part, man, it's crazy because like almost everywhere I've been, people are always just like they always end up really like genuinely wanting to talk to me because they just find out, like they just realize you're a cool person. And I know that Islam has a big part in that, and it played a big part in that because, you know, grew up in the hood. Like you're going to, if we weren't for Islam, I'm gonna say this: if we weren't for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and then Islam, I'm pretty sure we would have been in a little more rough shape than we are right now. But
A lot more.
it gave us the morals and in general, like as a human being, a normal human being, a good human being, you would know that robbing, raping, and killing and stuff, that's all not good as a human being in general. Like religion shouldn't have to tell you that, but there's other things that goes into detail with religion too. So it's like in Islam, we know that those things are bad, and there's other things that we should follow, like either lowering your gaze or respecting your parents and all those things that come with it. Those give you morals. Those give you a moral compass. So as you grow up and you see other crazy people out there, you're just like, okay, and I see where everybody went wrong and where I was saved, mashallah, because a lot of us were saying, no, me myself personally. Whew, man, I could have been.
See, that's where even if you don't make a choice and you're born Muslim, and that's why I always tell my kids, every time we see something, this is an example. You can look at that person, right? Not in a judgmental way, but you have to judge things on a scale of, do I want to be like that? Or you can look at somebody else and say, do I want to be more like that? You understand, in terms of my level of knowledge, in terms of my success, right? In terms of the way that I look to other people, like am I standing up? Can I see myself in 5 years from now going from this step to this step, and then 5 years from that to this step? You understand what I'm saying? Or am I gonna be the person that's walking around the block at 50 years old and 60 years old, and I still don't have a car, I still don't have a decent job, I don't have. You understand what I'm saying? So this is what we use, this is what I use for my kids. You understand? So this is what, like, for the youngsters, like, because you think, right now, I'm in a couple of days, I'll be 61. Alhamdulillah. But I'm just saying, it passed by so quick. I'm like, I don't feel like I'm 61, but I'll be 61. It passed by so quick.
Right.
It was like yesterday, I was like 19 and 22, and I'm like running the streets around here. You know, so you 25, right? So you gonna blink and you gonna be 30. That's literally how. Then you gonna blink.
I just turned 25, and in 10 days I'm about to be 26, inshallah. So it's like it was already a blink, and it's just a year.
That's what I'm saying. So anyway, we're gonna wind it up for today, and inshallah we're gonna have a second episode and invite the brothers back. Yani.
I'll be there, inshallah.